So this is going to be a video on, I guess, a Biax power scraper disassembly maintenance. Mentioned in a previous video about these little plastic things here. These have to be clear. They get filled up with dirt and dust, whatever. And if your scraper's overheating, you got to get down to these and clean this whole thing up. That's where the fan is on the armature. So you got three studs. One here. I already took the nuts off. You need an 8mm wrench to take these nuts off of here, and they're just lock washers on the two bottom ones here. Then the strap is held on with the third one. So you take those nuts off. You don't have to take this apart on the end. If you take this apart, the shaft, you'll remove the shaft with it, but you actually don't have to do that. You can just pull it out, and what there is this shaft has a place for this guy here, and I will pull that apart. But that's all you really need to take off is those three nuts, and that part will come off. You want to pull this. If your brushes are good, you want to pull this cover off right here and take the clip off the brushes. Some of them have Torx, some of them use a Phillips head. So the cover's off. Take a little screwdriver, raise this clip up right here, and then pull the brush out, because that rotor's coming out. And this is how I'm going to change the brushes in this one here. Brushes are $34 from Ed Dijak in Milford. So the brushes are loose. They're just hanging here. And then there's four. There's four slotted screws right in here. 1, 2, 3, 4. You take those out. So really you need a straight screwdriver, a JIS screwdriver, which is Japanese industrial standard, because anything metrics you need a JIS. You don't have to take this wobble plate apart. That can stay as an assembly. It doesn't have to come apart to get down to these to the fans. Once you get those, you can pull this out. And so what this has, there's brass pins. There's brass pins on this guy. 2 of them stayed in, 2 of them came out. And here's what I'm talking about needs to be cleaned. These little plastic, you can see how they're full of dirt. And they just slide out of this aluminum housing. There's 4 of them. And you might want to mark the scraper, the orientation of the parts. I mean, it can only go together one way. So this is the fan I'm talking about right here on that motor, and you can see where the fan covers the little plastic things that get dirty. And this is your the shaft that drives a pinion. That pinion right there, and those need to be greased real good. This will come right out. This is just in a bushing. Right there. So all that needs to be greased real good. So that's what you got. And then you got, so the motor drives this, and then this other gear on the smaller gear drives another gear that turns this. And that's pretty much it. There is a plastic piece in this. This plastic piece can come out and you can see all the dirt in that. So this all needs to be cleaned up. Get all this debris out of there. And that's pretty much it, taking one of these apart. There's two screws. I don't know if you can see it. There's two screws holding the windings in. And you know, if your windings are bad, yeah, you take these two screws and then that winding will come out. You got to unwire these wires right here for the variable speed. I think there's only 2 wires coming from those windings. And I will show you how to change the brushes while we're at this state. You just loosen this screw up right here, one on each of them, and that's it. Brush comes right out. My hands don't work like they used to. But JIS is important if you're working on metric stuff. So that's it. That's all there is to changing the brushes on these. And I will be replacing the brushes and cleaning this up. This sometimes will break. This is your on-off switch, you know. And it's pretty simple. So there's a look at this guy. And then this is the housing right here. And if you take this is where the blade goes in. If you take this apart, pull the clamp off, straight screwdriver, and this detail right here is what gets worn. The plates, this is softer than the plates that it rides on. So there's 2 screws holding that onto the shaft. And this is what wears right here. This one's in good shape. It's got a little bit of wear on one side. This wears out. There's an undercut that bolts onto this shaft. And I'll pull this shaft out. So right there is what the blade attaches to. On the other end, you got a socket for this. This goes on just like that. That's pretty much it. When this goes around, obviously it moves that back and forth, if you can see that. That's how the Biax works. And these plates, like I said, these are expensive. These will just pull right off of there. Not on this one. They do, they're right there. That's the wear plates that this rides on, just like that. So that goes back and forth. So these should be about, I think they're new ones. They're $60 a piece for these. And they should be about 82 thou, 0.082, 083 is what the new ones measure. And they're expensive. So all of these parts are expensive from Biax, from DAPRA. So that's it. You got a bearing on this end, and there's a bearing up in here. But you got to make sure this is greased real good, you know. And if anyone needs parts, I've got a wore out one of these, but you know, if the brushes get wore out, you're gonna wear a groove in here. I showed that on my last video, but that's pretty much it. All right.